Okay, please, can you turn on your cameras? Few of you. I'm going to wait for all of you. Once you turn on your videos, we will start. Yes, Krishna, very good. Mansi, चलो बहुत दिन के बाद I am able to see you all. चलो, so IPC का next concept we have to start and that is criminal breach of trust. Okay, हमने इसके पहले कौन से देखे हैं? We saw what is meant by. Yes, what is meant by
criminal conspiracy.
Yes, the first concept was criminal conspiracy. Okay, criminal conspiracy defined under section 120A and 120B. इसके बाद फिर हमने देखा criminal misappropriation of property under section 403 and 404 of IPC. Correct? Now today what we are going to see is third concept from IPC, which is defined under section 105 as criminal breach of trust. Okay, criminal breach of trust. It has a slight difference. Okay, it has a slight difference if you compare it with the earlier concept that we did, that was criminal misappropriation of property. So ये तीनों concepts ना linked है. When you are studying, make sure you study all three together and identify what is the difference between all three. So misappropriation of property, I hope that concept is clear everyone. Okay, in yesterday's lecture. आज क्या देखना है कि criminal breach of trust क्या है? अब trust ये जो word है, you tell me what you understand by this. What are other synonyms for trust? What is another meaning for the word? Yes.
Faith.
Faith. Okay.
Believe.
Trust मतलब किसी के ऊपर faith रखना. Okay, Krishna.
Believe.
Belief. Okay, you have a faith on a particular person. You believe. How many of you trust in God? You trust in God कि आपके साथ जो भी होगा सब सही होगा. Yes.
Ma'am, you believe in God, right?
You believe in God. But you don't trust. Yes. You don't trust. That is
No.
a belief.
It's just the grammatical word which we use. Nothing more. Mean the same thing.
It means the same, right? It means the same. Belief, faith, trust, rakna. So see, when I'm using this word trust, it means there is a person, there is one person, okay, जो कि उस दूसरे person पे trust कर रहा है ना? So basically, when I am using the word trust, it is implying that there are going to be two persons, wherein one person is imposing trust on another person. Correct? Yes. So you have trust. You trust your parents that they will always support you in whatever you do. You trust your teachers. You trust that a friend will always support you. So trust is not a term which you can study in isolation. ये trust किसी एक person से relate नहीं कर रहा है. Trust मतलब ही दो persons involved. Okay, where one person is going to trust the other person. So what is criminal breach of trust? Breach, you have come across this term under contracts. Breach क्या होता है? Violation, infringement. So इसका मतलब अगर आपने किसी के ऊपर ट्रस्ट किया है और वो आपके ट्रस्ट को वायलेट करता है, he breaks your trust, तो उसी को हम लोग कहेंगे breach of trust, right? So we are just trying to simplify what is criminal breach of trust. You trusted a person, okay, and the person has breached your trust. That is, he went against your trust. उसने कुछ ऐसा किया है कि आपका जो ट्रस्ट है वो उसके ऊपर से अभी you are no more trusting the person. You are no more trusting the person. That is going to amount to criminal breach of trust. Why I am stressing so much on the word trust and what is the meaning of trust? Because the earlier concept and this concept has a very thin line of difference. What is the difference? Have you identified? Just take 2 minutes, recollect the examples that we saw for criminal misappropriation of property. And see, there were many illustrations over here. You can just overview the illustrations again. And now tell me what is difference between misappropriation of property and breach of trust. Let's see who can identify the difference. Don't be in a hurry. Go through the illustrations again and then tell me. Yes, anyone has identified? Ravina? Okay, Dhruv has raised his hand. Bolo.
Ma'am, the only difference between these two is that in criminal breach of trust, the accused person is given control over the property by the other persons in his group.
Okay, very good, very good, very good, correct. Anyone wants to add up to this, or it was the same thing that you wanted to say?
Ma'am, the same thing, but one more thing we have to add is that in misappropriation of property, you are not entrusted with the object. The person does not entrust you with his trust here. It is by it's by your luck you find it, and you due to your change in mind, then you come into that section, but you don't implicitly get the object from the person.
Correct,
So
correct. Very good, correct. Yes, you have identified the difference. Krishna, anything to add?
No, ma'am.
Nothing. It was same. Absolutely right. I'm really happy that you've identified the difference. So criminal breach of trust, see this part. क्या कहता है? The only difference between the two is that in respect of criminal breach of trust, the accused is entrusted with the property or with the dominion or control. Okay, बहुत important word है. Control किसने दिया था? इस person ने उस चीज का control जो है वो उस person को दिया. So I have trusted someone and I have kept the property with that person. So you know, let's consider for example. हम लोग जब रेलवे से ट्रैवल करते हैं ना, मे बी यू टेक अ बाइक ऑफ योर्स, आपके घर से आप लेके जाते हो आपके फ्रेंड के यहाँ पे, ओके आप आपके फ्रेंड के यहाँ पे पार्क करते हो और उसको चाबी देते हो. आपने खुद आपकी फ्रेंड के पास गए, उसकी पार्किंग में गाड़ी पार्क की, यू गेव हिम द कीज एंड यू सेड कि अब आगे यहाँ से मैं रेलवे से आई एम गोइंग टू दिल्ली, आई एम ट्रैवलिंग टू दिल्ली, 10 दिन के बाद आई एम कमिंग बैक. So you told him कि 10 दिन के लिए गाड़ी को आपके पास संभाल के रखना, 10 दिन के बाद when I come back, I'll take back and I'll go. So आपने क्या किया था? आपने खुद आपकी गाड़ी, you gave the possession to your friend, you told him to take care of it, and you're going to come back after 10 days. लेकिन इन 10 दिन में क्या होता है? 10 दिन में क्या होता है? When I'm saying breach of trust, आपने भरोसा रखा था कि वो 10 दिन आपकी गाड़ी अच्छे से संभाल के रखेगा. इस 10 दिन में उसने आपकी गाड़ी को बेच दिया और he did anything. Okay, example is he sold it. It will amount to criminal breach of trust. Are you all getting the point? So when you trust someone and the person breaches your trust, it is a criminal breach of trust. I cannot say that he misappropriated the property क्योंकि उसने खुद से नहीं ली थी, मैंने उसको दी थी. This is the only difference between the earlier concept and this one. Okay, so you could identify it only because you have understood the earlier concept. Okay, so that's really good. Next देखते हैं criminal breach of trust की essential ingredients क्या है. The same points are put down over here. First point देखना, accused was entrusted with the property. Entrusted, बहुत important word. Entrusted इसका मतलब हमने जाके वो property उस person को दिया, उसने खुद से नहीं लिया, उसने खुद से नहीं लिया. It is entrusted to him. और entrusted के बाद फिर क्या होता है? He dishonestly misappropriates it, uses it, or he just disposes of the property. and the act is in violation of law. This is against law. Law भी कहता है कि आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो. It is against the legal contract. मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या था उसके साथ, मैंने उसको बोला था 10 दिन के लिए संभाल के रखना, आई विल कम बैक आफ्टर 10 days and I'll take it. This was the contract between us, but he has violated this legal contract. So essential ingredients को वापस यहाँ पे divide किया है, the same points which you saw. So let us see the examples. Illustrations. Okay. Whenever I talk about illustrations, you have to relate interpretation of statutes वाला chapter. हमने देखा, remember? Yes. So illustrations play a very important role as an internal aid of interpretation. They help you to understand that concept in a better way. So illustrations में देखना क्या है, यहाँ पे A executor to a will. Do you know what is a will? If no, I will share a video with you. Okay, it is already there. So I will share a video with respect to what is a will in detail. You can watch that. In short, क्या होता है? In short, will क्या होता है? A person before his death makes a will, that is his own wish, कि उसकी जितनी भी property है वो किसको देना चाहता है. He wants to give it to his son, to his daughter, to his wife, to his brother. तो जिनके पास जो भी प्रॉपर्टी है, मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है, आप आपके हिसाब से उसका विल बनाते हो, एंड यू से दैट आफ्टर योर डेथ दिस प्रॉपर्टी इज टू बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इन सो एंड सो वे. ओके, सो विल एक ऐसी तरह का डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसको इफेक्ट कब मिलता है, इफेक्ट कब मिलता है, ओनली आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ द पर्सन. दैट इज द पर्सन एग्जीक्यूट्स इट ओनली आफ्टर हिज डेथ. बनाता है व्हेन ही इज अलाइव, एंड उसको इफेक्ट कब मिलता है उस डॉक्यूमेंट को, ओनली व्हेन द पर्सन डाइज. अगर वो मरता ही नहीं है तो फिर विल इज जस्ट गोइंग टू बी ऑन पेपर, राइट? देयर विल नॉट बी एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ इट्स एग्जीक्यूशन. सो अब यहाँ पे आप क्या कर सकते हो, जब आप विल बनाते हो यू हैव टू अपॉइंट एन एग्जीक्यूटर. कुछ लोग फैमिली मेंबर को अपॉइंट करते हैं, कुछ लोग लॉयर को अपॉइंट करते हैं. सो आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ दैट पर्सन, ओके, आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ दैट पर्सन द एग्जीक्यूटर विल टेक द विल. वो सबके सामने उस विल को रीड करता है लाउडली. He will read out the will loudly so that everyone knows what is written, and then he's going to distribute it in the way it is given. He's going to distribute the property in the way it is given in the will. अब यहाँ पे हुआ क्या है, A was appointed as the executor of the will of a deceased person, and he was directed by law to divide the property. है ना, एक प्रॉपर्टी यहाँ पे देखना, और उसको बोला था कि ये B और C के बीच में उस प्रॉपर्टी को इक्वली डिवाइड करना है, इक्वली उसको डिवाइड करना है. इस एग्जीक्यूटर ने क्या किया, he disposed his own use. That is, उस प्रॉपर्टी में उसने इक्वली डिवाइड नहीं किया, उसने थोड़ी बहुत प्रॉपर्टी B को दी, थोड़ी प्रॉपर्टी C को दी, and he kept a part of it for himself. Okay, he has kept a part of it for himself. So करना क्या था और वो क्या कर रहा है. Yes, so he has done, can we say this is a breach of trust? Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
जो पर्सन विल बनाता है उसको टेस्टेटर कहते हैं. ठीक है, तो इस टेस्टेटर ने बहुत भरोसा रखा है, बहुत ट्रस्ट रखा कि मिस्टर ए जो है ना वो सबसे अप्रोप्रिएट पर्सन है जो मेरी विल को एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. और उसके इस भरोसे को, उसके इस ट्रस्ट को मिस्टर ए क्या कर रहा है, ब्रीच. Because he is not executing the will as per the things are written, he has manipulated it, and he is keeping his own share also in the property. So this will be an example of criminal breach of trust. A has committed breach of trust. Okay, that is one example. Another example, like you have a lot of furniture and you are going to travel. So what you do, you find a warehouse keeper. Okay, A is a warehouse keeper, and Z, who is going on a journey, he entrusts his furniture to A under a contract that it shall be returned on payment of a stipulated sum. तो वो warehouse के जो भी charges है वो कहता है आपके जो भी 2-3 हजार रुपए है, I will pay to you, and once I come back I want all this furniture. Okay, हो सकता है. अभी recently I saw a person, they were shifting in Pune. Okay, वो shift हो रहे थे, लेकिन उनको घर का possession नहीं मिला था. उनको possession कुछ 10 दिन के बाद मिलने वाला था, लेकिन जो पुराना घर था वो वहां से ऑलरेडी शिफ्ट हो चुके थे. तो उनका जो भी फर्नीचर था, जो भी सब था, दे केप्ट इट एट अ वेयरहाउस, दे स्टोर्ड इट ओवर देयर. दे हैड टू प्लेस, हम आपको 10 दिन के बाद मिलने वाला है, यू टेक बैक योर फर्नीचर एंड यू प्लेस इट एट योर हाउस. अब ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड व्हाट द वेयरहाउस कीपर इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू डू, you just want him to make sure that the furniture is taken care of, he keeps it properly. इस बंदे ने क्या किया, ए डिसऑनेस्टली सेल्स द गुड्स, क्या कर दिया इसने, आपके फर्नीचर को इसने बेच दिया. A has committed criminal breach of trust. Yes, example is clear. Everyone, read the third example. Now, everyone on your own, you will read the third example, C point. Everyone, I hope you are reading.
Ma'am, I had a doubt, ma'am.
Yes, Dhruv.
Ma'am, in a criminal conspiracy, we had learned, sorry, not in criminal conspiracy. In the 3 types of mens rea, we had learned I and R, and out of which R stood for recklessness. And you had given an example of a driving drink and drive case. So now I want to ask you, if we take the same example, and when the RTO catches you, or if any police officer catches you, if you have drunk and drive, you said it is because of recklessness, but can this point also be considered there that the RTO has put a trust on you by giving you the license? That whenever you drive safely. It's your responsibility. That's why you have been issued a license. So will that be amount to breach of contract, or it will be still considered recklessness?
It is recklessness because Dhruv, you tell me, police officers या RTO officers, क्या वो आपके ऊपर trust करके आपको license देते हैं? Or they take a test? There is an
मतलब वो
RTO
टेस्ट
test.
लेते हैं, no, वो टेस्ट
उनको
लेते हैं
कुछ
मैम, but
भरोसा
it's our
नहीं है.
moral obligation towards the public. It's our obligation to follow the rules, right? We should follow the rules at any cost, at any time.
Everyone, obligation is a different thing and trust is a different thing. Okay, so obligations are duties. आपकी duty है ही that आप इंडिया में रहते हो, आपको इंडियन लॉज पता होने चाहिए, आपने इंडियन लॉज को फॉलो करना चाहिए. So that is completely different, right? You cannot say obligations and trust is one and the same. No. Right? See, you all have an obligation. When I give a test, you have a duty. You have a duty that you give the test, you submit it on time. ये आपकी duty है, आपको करना चाहिए. What is trust? When I say I trust, it means I trust irrespective of any facts. Dhruv इस test को 100% देगा. मुझे इतना भरोसा है कि कुछ भी हो, बाकी लोग test appear करे नहीं करे, but Dhruv is going to appear. He's going to submit it on time. So there's a lot of difference between trust and obligations. Yes. So when they are issuing you a license, it is nothing out of trust. It is their obligation and they are following a step-by-step process for that. Only if you clear all those things, then you get it. So it is all subject to certain conditions. You satisfy the conditions, therefore they give you. फिर वो आपको जानते नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, फिर भी आपको license मिल जाता है. Okay. So that is a different thing. Fine. Everyone else? I hope you went through this third illustration also, and then you have this one. Very, very important, interesting, nice case. Now go through this part. Question number 1. Raman is agent of Chaman. Okay. And if you want, take down a pencil and a paper in hand and try to note down so that you understand. You have a very clear understanding कि question exactly क्या है. Okay. जो भी आपको समझ में आ रहा है, just try to put it down on the paper. Then it will be more easy. Yes, can you relate this case? काफी बार न्यूज़पेपर्स में भी ऐसे न्यूज़ आते हैं, and I have also practically seen that when nowadays you all want to earn more money, yeah, rather I can say we all try to have some passive income, that apart from active कुछ passive income होना चाहिए. So in such situation what you do is whatever money you have, you try to invest it into share market, mutual funds, etc. And then if you don't have enough of time, if you don't have enough of knowledge about it, what you do is you try to find some investment manager, you try to consult some mutual fund company, and then they invest your money, okay, on your behalf. They take the decisions and they invest your money. So this example is very similar to that, where we are saying that Raman, so Raman ko you can replace it with a mutual fund company or your investment manager who is investing your funds, your savings he is investing, okay. And two situations are given, wherein in the first situation you had specifically given him directions कि वो पैसे कहाँ पे उसने invest करने चाहिए. It was specifically told that you should invest this money in company X, okay, और वो उस company में पैसे नहीं डालता, whether he will be held liable for criminal breach of trust. And second situation is the person, the investment banker or investment manager is a very good friend of yours, and with a very good intention he wants you to earn more money, and therefore he feels that instead of investing your money in a bank of into the shares of company X, he feels it would be a wise decision to invest your funds in Bank of Bengal. Okay, so you had not instructed him. He has used his own mind and he felt that the money should be invested in Bank of Bengal shares. Therefore, he went ahead. But then suddenly the market falls down and there is a loss. You suffer loss. Can you blame this particular investment manager or this particular mutual fund company for the loss that you have sustained? Okay, so two questions are over here. Two questions are there. Yes, everyone, tell me, have you understood the example? First and foremost,
Yes,
have you understood the example? Yes. Okay, so in the first case, में जब मैं मेरे my real life example I'm giving you, when I started investing in shares and mutual funds, and I was really attracted with it because it's a good source of income apart from your main income. But then I really had less time to read and invest. So then I got in touch with a broker, with an agent who will do all these things for me. So I told him my monthly income, the share out of my monthly income, which I can afford to put in my savings for mutual fund or for shares. And after having a thorough study about my background, my income level, my age and other things, my agent suggested that I should invest in following things. And I told him, fine, you go as per like whatever you think. बस मुझे इतने पैसे है तो मुझे double पैसे होने चाहिए by the end of the year. So when I gave entrusted that trust, मैंने वो trust उस person पे रखा है, and I have told him to take decisions whichever are wise according to him. I give him the liberty, okay, and then he will invest. So there I cannot say it is criminal breach of trust. But when I told him that अभी आपको LIC का IPO आया था तो प्लीज इतने पैसे LIC के IPO में डालो. जब मैं specifically I am telling that invest this money into LIC company, and my agent uses his own brains and does not put this money in LIC, then it will be a criminal breach of trust. क्योंकि मैंने specifically directions दिए हैं कि ये मेरे पैसे हैं, मेरे पैसे, I want this money to go into an IPO and that too of LIC only. इतना clear instructions देने के बाद if the person does not follow it, it is nothing but criminal breach of trust. Okay, everyone, very very important case.
ma'am, will a banker customer relationship be in the say criminal breach of trust, right? It will be considered under one, the relationship.
Okay. See, a banker and customer, there are different types of relations which are being shared. So it depends upon that particular transaction. Okay, कि उसमें criminal breach of trust कहेंगे या नहीं कहेंगे. Because
For example,
yes.
if I am asking my bank to provide me one service, suppose and the bank is not providing me the service due to some reasons, and I file a legal complaint against it because due to that particular service, I needed that money urgently and I lost a big chunk. I lost the opportunity to earn lots of money. So now, will that be considered under this, or it will be a whole new concept?
No, it will be a breach of trust concept. Like example, what I can relate to is maybe, letters of credit. I don't know if you know the concept, but in
Yes, ma'am.
international market, when you're doing importing and exporting of goods, banks play a very important role for you. Without them, it is not possible, right? So banks issue a letter of credit on your behalf. So it is a type of service that they are providing. So based on this, so they were expected to send a letter of credit on a particular date. Okay, you had given them directions to send it. So if they do not send it ahead on a particular day, and because of that you suffer a huge loss in your business, yes, you can recover it from them. You can say this is a case of criminal breach of trust because you imposed a lot of trust on your bank that on this date they will give the letter of credit. Okay, so that would be covered. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next question देखना, Cyclone Movers and Packers is entrusted by Z with his property to be carried by land to Gurgaon. आजकल आपको कहीं पे भी शिफ्टिंग करना है, घर का शिफ्टिंग है, तो you have so many packers and movers who really help to make your job easy. So similar एक packers and movers है जिनका नाम है Cyclone over here, and Mr. Z ने उसकी जो प्रॉपर्टी है शिफ्टिंग के दौरान सारी प्रॉपर्टी सारे गुड्स जो है वो इन packers movers को दे दिए हैं because they want to transfer it to another location. Messer Cyclone the property. उनके पोजेशन में हमने खुद उनको कंट्रोल दिया, हमने खुद उनको सारी चीजें जो हमारे घर पे थी, फर्नीचर थे, गुड्स थे, वो सब हमने उनको दे दिया विद अ लॉट ऑफ ट्रस्ट दैट दे विल अगेन प्लेस इट बैक एट योर न्यू होम. लेकिन इन बिटवीन जब वो गुड्स ट्रांजिट में थे, आपके रियल डेस्टिनेशन पे वो पहुंचते नहीं, इन मूवर्स एंड पैकर्स ने क्या कर दिया, उन गुड्स को बेच दिया बाहर के बाहर. Whether you can hold them responsible for criminal breach of trust under section 405. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Yes. Or the case laws, you are going to read these case laws. We will see the punishment part for criminal breach of trust. So now we know very well what is the offense. कौन से केसेस में हम लोग क्रिमिनल ब्रीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट कहेंगे, कौन से केसेस में हम लोग मिसअप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी कहेंगे. Okay, so we know the difference now. So now coming to the penalty or the punishment part. Punishment for cases other than the following cases. Okay, 406 एक general punishment देता है, and that is 3 years imprisonment or a fine or both. When it is breach of trust is done by a carrier, wharfinger, or a warehouse keeper. We just saw one illustration, right? So if it is done by warehouse keeper, wharfinger, or a carrier, that is an agent, then it is imprisonment up to 7 years and a fine. If a breach of trust is done by a clerk or a servant, so देखना breach of trust, आपका भरोसा किसने तोड़ा है, वो बहुत मायने रखता है यहाँ पे when we are talking about punishments. So if the breach of trust is done by a servant or a clerk, then it is again 7 years and fine. And lastly, the example which Dhruv was talking about, that is a banker and customer. So when breach of trust is done by a public servant, we also saw an illustration for this about the revenue officer, banker, merchant factor, broker, attorneys, or agents, then it is imprisonment for life or 10 years and fine. Okay, these are the penalties, these are the punishments which are given, which are very strict. So punishments जितने strict होते हैं, उससे आपको समझ में आता है कि वो particular offense जो है वो बहुत serious type का offense है. Okay, so there is a connection, direct link between the punishment which is imposed and the type of offense, the gravity of offense. You have few general concepts are coming into the नीचे आप एक छोटा सा concept देखोगे called as cheating by personation. Cheating by personation. इसके लिए I will be sharing a video with you after the class. Okay. In short, who can tell me what is cheating by personation? You can read what is meaning of cheating by personation.
Basically, con man, something like con man.
Yes. Yes, very true, very true. Okay, मतलब आप किसी person उस authority को आप use करते हो. Okay, like example, anyone can give me an example? Yes.
If you are dealing with somebody about, if you're buying some goods from somebody across the state and you call him down here to decide the terms of the contract and just how the payments are going to be done. And if I am a person who's trying to cheat you, I come there as the supplier whom I had called and I sign the contract. So that is something I'm substituting him.
Basically, yes. So what is happening, or maybe sometimes a deceased person है, okay? आप ये वाला भी example ले सकते हो. Second वाला example, a particular person, Mr. A, died. After his death, उसके घर पे कॉल आता है कि उसके कुछ ज्वेलरी है जो उसके पास है and he wants to return it back. अब उसको नहीं पता है कि इस पर्सन की ऑलरेडी डेथ हो जाती है. घर पे जो इसका भाई है, ब्रदर कहता है कि हाँ ठीक है, आई एम द पर्सन, आपको जो पर्सन चाहिए वो मैं खुद हूँ, तो मैं इस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस पे आ जाता हूँ टू टेक दैट प्रॉपर्टी. So what he's doing cheating by personation. That is, he's trying to represent another person who is either dead or who might be an imaginary person. So आप किसी और की पोजीशन को acquire करके you represent that you are that person and you try to take the benefits out of it. Okay, so I'm going to send you a video for this particular concept, and I'll send you a video on will also. Okay, so you all can check that. Yes, Krishna, bolo.
So we can say that मतलब जैसे वोटिंग के टाइम पे होता